Hey, David here. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm out in the Florida forest, a Florida forest, I should say. Yeah, I'm in Florida right now, of course, and the forests here don't look like the ones in Colorado, but it certainly does look like a forest. So anyway, so what I want to talk about today is first I want to mention that I'm getting ready. I'm out here. I'm going to be doing what I call a Nikon ZR marathon. I'm going to put together a bunch of walk and talks, and I'll talk a little bit more about that for the introduction for the marathon. But that's what I'm out here doing today. I'm hoping to get at least 10 done, so we'll see how it goes. But today in this walk and talk, what I want to talk about is YouTube and what's going on with various creators out there and whatnot. There's a lot of creators that have been complaining and are concerned about YouTube's new algorithms or whatever it is that they're doing. And I understand what they're saying because they're not getting as many views as they used to get. And I think the reason they're not getting as many views is because YouTube is not promoting their videos as much, which I think is interesting because, by the way, I'm out here hiking, so if I start breathing, that's why. I think what's interesting is this. There are YouTube creators out there that have thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even millions of subscribers, but their videos have a fraction of that. And so what that says to me is that the subscribers, I don't know why they're subscribers. I don't know what that means. Because if you've got 1 million subscribers and you put a video up, you put up 2 videos, 3 videos, 10 videos over, 2 months, and the highest view count you have is 15 or 20,000, what in the world are the 1 million subscribers? That just makes no sense to me. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but let's look at it from a money perspective. And I think I've talked about this before, but let's look at it from a money perspective from YouTube. If people only watch videos that are put in front of them, which I think is valid, if people only watch movies or videos that are put in front of them, YouTube decides what people want to watch. It's the same thing with Netflix or Amazon or any of them. They are going to decide what you watch because there doesn't seem to be any loyalty, if you will, or any preference, if you will. It's a little different with movies, but with YouTube, there doesn't seem to be any real preference to the creator. Now, in some cases there are, and we don't need to get into that, some of the really heavy hitters, but the mid to low scale, I don't know that there's any preference. So once again, let's take it from the money perspective for YouTube. If YouTube is in it to make money, if it's all about the money, which, okay, it is, why would they want to be recommending videos where they're paying the creator, however little it is? Like right now, this video, as of right now, while I'm making it, I don't know what the future holds, but I'm not getting paid a dime for doing this. You can watch this video, 1 million of you could watch this video today, and I wouldn't get paid a dime because my my channel's not monetized. So if people are if there are content creators out there that are creating content that is just as good as the creators that are creating content that have subscribers that are monetized, et cetera, why would YouTube promote them? If YouTube is determined that it's irrelevant, why wouldn't they just put up the creators that aren't monetized? That's more profitable for them, isn't it? Okay, so now let's take it one step further. Let's go the sinister route, if you will. Now we've got this whole AI thing going on. And I don't know how often it is, but if I search for something, it's fairly often that I'm going to get, there's a new phrase out there called AI slop. There's a pretty good chance I'm going to get AI slop. I've seen reviews of this camera right here. And by the way, in case you guys don't know, I'm on the Nikon ZR on my 20 millimeter Viltrex shooting H.265. So if I was to do a search about this camera, the Nikon ZR review or something like that, I usually will get at least 1 or 2 that are what I would call AI slop. And that means it's just AI talking about just the features of it. It's got this many megapixels and does autofocus and blah, 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 whatever. And it's a bunch of meaningless nothingness. And so you spend a little bit of time watching that. Maybe you watch the commercial in front of it. Maybe you skip the commercial in front of it. Maybe the commercial in front of it was, you have to watch it, because YouTube will do that as well. So what's the sinister part of that? What would keep YouTube from creating those types of videos. If YouTube has decided that people are only going to watch what's put in front of them, what reason does YouTube have to pay creators? If the creators aren't giving anything that anybody really cares about, and what do I mean by care about? If people are going to watch whatever's put in front of them, if they're just, if I don't want to say mind dead, whatever, if they're just going to watch whatever's put in front of them, why would YouTube, from a money-making perspective, why would YouTube not just put up AI stuff that they've created? So for me, I'm not doing this to make money per se, really. Would it be neat? Yeah, to make your time worth something, blah, blah, whatever. But I'm not particularly doing this to generate income. And so once I get to the point where I can kind of sort of monetize stuff, and I don't need to get into too much of that in this, but I want to help people make money with this camera, the ZR, and it's not necessarily just this camera, but I think this camera has a lot of potential, and it has a low entry point, if you will. I'm on this camera with a $200 lens, $350 mic. It has the opportunity for you to, make some money with a fairly low entry point. And so I would like to, try and help people do that. And so that's kind of where my goal is for this. But it's interesting. Boy, that was quite a hill. Did you see what I just went up? Look at that. Anyway, I don't know if I can rely on YouTube wanting to help me do that. I don't think it's like it used to be. I really don't. Okay, so let's talk about how, Google makes money for the most part. And some of you guys already know this, but using YouTube as an example, there's two primary ways that they make money. One is they put ads in the content or before the content. Like this right here, you probably had an ad before this, even though I'm not making any money on it. You had an ad that went before this video, and that's how YouTube and or Google generates money, right? Well, the other way that they generate money is from searches. So let's say, for example, you punch in, whatever it is, Nikon ZR, blah, blah, whatever, in the search field, it feeds up a video. And as you guys know, there are some videos that are sponsored and some that are not. So that's how they make money. So once again, like I said before, if they really want to maximize their profits, what they need to be doing is creating the content, feeding that content in front of the viewers, and then selling advertising to the person that's selling dish soap or whatever it is. So now let's get to, as a creator, how do you make money as a YouTube creator? Well, for the research that I've done, the people that I've watched, the camera guys and others for that matter, they don't make their money from ad revenue for the most part. They make their money what? I've talked about this before. They make their money selling stuff. And so the world revolves around people selling stuff. And if people are trying to make a living, even if they, consider themselves a movie maker or a filmmaker, we don't need to go off on that tangent. But if you're trying to make money with a camera telling a story, it's not easy to make money doing that. I mean, do you know how many views you would have to make a movie? I mean, I've done it. I made a movie, put it on YouTube. I had it free to see for a while. Right now, I don't have it there because it's kind of sitting there. I've got 70,000 views and I've got 122 subscribers on that channel. That's right, 70,000 views, 122 subscribers. So I didn't make one dime from those 70,000 views. So even if you did, I mean, I've done a little bit of research. If you're making a feature-length movie, you'd have to have a minimum million people watch that, probably 2 to 3 million, maybe even more, for you to quote unquote make a living at it. And even then it wouldn't be that good of a living. So what do you want to do? You got to try to put it in theaters, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I don't want to get off a tangent here, but making money with a camera is getting harder and harder. It's not impossible, but it's getting harder. So anyway, I just wanted this video to be about, the YouTube and how, what I think is going on with them. And I think as a creator, it's getting tough. It's getting tough to make money. You have to sell stuff. And this channel, as you guys know, if you don't know this already, my interest is not really to sell stuff. Will I do it at some point in the future? I really don't know. But I guess how do you say this? I guess my perspective, because I've done it for so long, I'm not a guy that buys a new car. I'm not a guy that typically buys a new lens, unless it's something like, this. I just bought a set of lenses that are I don't know, 5 or 6 years old, and I paid, 30% of what they cost new. So I have a tendency to do that, and there's no money in that. I guess another option is to just, recommend used equipment to people. I know lenses are getting better. I think they're getting better. I don't know, regarding autofocus and stuff like that. And I know for people, autofocus, it's a big deal for people now. Uh, but, what am I going to do? Try to see if I can get an affiliate program with eBay? I don't think eBay has any affiliate programs, do they? I'm not aware of that if they do. But anyway, so my interest is to help you guys, you know, be better at what you do. I've got the ZR here. I don't know how long my life with the ZR is going to be. I think it's going to be a while. I do like it. But I should tell you guys, and some of you guys already know this, I've really got my eye on that Sigma FP. I think that's a neat camera, but it doesn't do what this camera does. So anyway, they're different. So enough rambling on. I'm going to get started on my Nikon ZR Marathon. I'm out here in the Florida forest, and anyway, I'm going to get to that. So take care, you guys. Thumbs up if you like, thumbs down if you don't, and subscribe if you want to see more useless information. See ya.